There is a moment, almost every night, somewhere on Earth, when a group of people stop talking, stop scrolling, stop moving, and simply stare into a small dancing flame. No one tells them to do it. No one has to. It just happens. We assume this is simple. Fire is warm, fire is useful, fire keeps the dark away. Case closed. Except it isn't. Because campfires today serve almost no practical purpose. We have heaters, light bulbs, stoves, and central heating. And yet, put a flame in front of a modern human being, and something ancient switches on inside them. Conversations slow down. Muscles relax. People who were anxious an hour earlier suddenly feel calm, almost hypnotized. Scientists have measured this. In a widely cited study from the University of Alabama, researchers found that simply watching a fire for a short period lowered participants' blood pressure, and the effect grew stronger the longer they watched. That detail alone should stop you. A physical, measurable calming effect from staring at burning gas and light. Not from touching fire, not from using it, just from watching it. So the real question isn't why fire is useful. It's why fire feels like it's speaking to something inside us that we can't name. To understand this, we have to go back, not centuries, hundreds of thousands of years. Archaeological evidence from sites like Wonderwork Cave in South Africa suggests that early humans were controlling fire as far back as 1 million years ago. That's not a typo. Long before agriculture, before language as we know it, before villages or tools of iron, our ancestors were already gathering around flame. And here's where it gets strange. The control of fire didn't just change what we ate. Some researchers, notably primatologist Richard Wrangham, have proposed that cooking food with fire may have physically reshaped the human brain. Cooked food is easier to digest, releases more calories, and may have freed up energy that our bodies once spent breaking down raw plants and meat. That extra energy, Wrangham argues, could have helped fuel the growth of a larger, more complex brain. Think about what that means. The very organ you are using right now to follow this sentence may exist in part because our ancestors once sat beside a fire. But there's a deeper layer still. Fire didn't just feed the body, it appears to have organized the mind. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years studying the Ju-Hwansi people of the Kalahari Desert, comparing their daytime conversations to what happened after dark, around the fire. During the day, conversation was practical. Arguments, complaints, logistics, who did what and who owed whom. But at night, beside the flames, the tone shifted entirely. People told stories, myths, histories of the group. Tales about distant relatives, ancestors, the origins of the world. Wiesner's research suggested something remarkable. Firelight may have created the very first social theater, a space where humans stopped competing over resources and started sharing meaning instead. And this raises an uncomfortable, fascinating question. Did fire help build human culture itself? Not just by keeping people warm, but by creating a nightly ritual where imagination, storytelling, and shared belief could exist for the first time in our evolutionary history? Some researchers believe yes. Others urge caution, pointing out that we cannot fully verify how prehistoric humans behaved around early fires, since we only have indirect evidence: burnt bone, ash layers, charcoal deposits. We are reconstructing psychology from fragments. Still, the pattern keeps repeating across cultures with no contact with one another. Ancient Persian fire temples, the eternal flame of Vestal virgins in Rome, solstice bonfires in Northern Europe, Diwali lamps across South Asia, Aboriginal fire ceremonies in Australia. Different continents, different beliefs, same flame at the center. Why would so many unconnected societies independently decide that fire deserved reverence? One answer comes not from history, but from inside the human eye. Fire behaves in a way almost nothing else in nature does. It moves, but not in a predictable rhythm like a swaying tree or a flowing river. It flickers randomly, changes shape unpredictably, and yet never fully repeats itself. Some researchers in cognitive science suggest that this specific kind of unpredictable, non-threatening motion may be uniquely suited to hold human attention. Our brains are wired to notice movement because moving things in nature were historically either predators or opportunities. Fire moves like something alive, but poses no danger from a safe distance. It may be feeding an ancient alertness system while simultaneously reassuring it that there is nothing to fear. In other words, fire might trigger the exact mental machinery we evolved to detect threats, and then immediately soothe it. Alert and safe at the same time. That contradiction may be part of why it feels so hypnotic. But not everyone agrees this is purely psychological. There's another theory, one rooted deeply in survival. For hundreds of thousands of years, the descending darkness meant danger. Predators hunted at night. Human eyesight is poor in low light. A fire wasn't just warmth. It was the only technology standing between a sleeping human body and a predator's teeth. Some evolutionary psychologists argue that our comfort near fire isn't really about fire at all. It's about safety. Fire may simply be the symbol our nervous system learned over unimaginable stretches of time to associate with survival. If that's true, then every time someone unconsciously relaxes near a bonfire today, they may be responding to a memory encoded not in their personal experience, but in the deep architecture of the species itself. That's a strange thought to sit with. That a feeling this personal, this private, might not be entirely yours. It might be inherited. Yet science remains careful here. There is no single, universally accepted explanation. It's likely not one cause, but several. Biological safety, brain development through cooking, social bonding through storytelling, and a unique visual rhythm that our attention finds almost impossible to look away from. These explanations don't compete. They layer on top of each other, each adding a different thread to the same unresolved tapestry. What we do know is this: long after fire stopped being necessary for our survival, it never stopped being necessary for something else in us. Walk through any modern city today and you'll still find candles at dinner tables, fireplaces built into luxury homes that no one truly needs for heat, and camping trips where people drive hours into the wilderness partly just to sit beside a flame they could have lit in their own backyard. We built machines that replaced almost every original function fire once served, and still, we return to it. Maybe that's the real mystery here. Not why fire fascinates us, but what it reveals about how much of what we call modern life still runs on instincts written long before cities, before writing, before we even had the words to ask why. The next time you find yourself staring into a flame, unable to look away, consider this. You may not simply be watching fire. You may be looking at one of the oldest conversations the human mind has ever had with the world around it, one that started before history began, and somehow never really ended.